This is the Fleet Europe podcast, hosted by Melchior Wathelet, co-CEO at Nexus Communication. Today's topic, unpacking the leasing market in Turkey. Introducing today's guests, Turkay Oktay, Country Managing Director at Avens Turkey, and Önder Erdem, Managing Director at Hedef Fleet Services. Enjoy the episode.
Hello everyone and welcome to this podcast from Turkey during our Fleet Europe Summit here in Turkey, in Istanbul. And I have the pleasure today to host two guests to speak about leasing in Turkey. I have Önder Erdem from the company Hedef Filo. Try to pronounce it as good as I can. And I have also Turkay Oktay from the company Avens, well known as well in the whole Europe and also worldwide, also active in the leasing sector. So just to start quickly, first question, very easy. We have heard here during this during this summit, that the fleet sector was a bit defleeting this last year in Turkey. So the volume of leasing was decreasing. So first question, of course, why? Because it's still growing in Europe. Why is it different in Turkey? And secondly, what are your expectations for the future? Maybe Önder to start, yes?
Okay, thank you. I believe it's a matter of perception. Not your perception, but the customer's perception. I think inflation kind of shadows the mathematics of it. It's not that easy to see the right way of funding the fleet. It's a very strange situation. Like you buy a car firsthand, and 2 years or 3 years down the road, you sell it at a higher value. Actually, the value is not higher, but in terms of Turkish lira, the equivalent is a higher number.
Just because of inflation.
Yeah, and people might think they made money on the car, or they lost less money on the car, because it kind of shadows the mathematics, if you know what I mean. And with very high interest rates that we need to charge to our customers at the prevailing economic situation, it makes it a very hard purchase for them. I mean, on the one hand, the leasing is very expensive. On the other hand, the economics of it, they just cannot measure it. So I think that kind of, especially for the smaller enterprises, smaller companies, it makes a harder case for them to lease, but an easier one to purchase.
Okay. Are you agreeing? It's the same?
I fully agree. Actually, that is kind of a trend in our car, because that's not just last year. I think we are defleeting since 2018, although we have some stable years in between. But yeah, last year was the most big defleeting we had since 2018. So yeah, it is mostly SMEs. I mean, I can add that SMEs, small medium enterprises, they are moving away from leasing for sure. We are losing them.
But if the inflation is so high, if it's so risky to buy something because of this inflation, naturally you would think that people would rather go to leasing, because when you lease, the leasing company is normally, I hope you do so, taking the risk of this inflation and of this interest rate.
Yeah, normally, it should be like that. So that, definitely leasing should be more preferred in case of uncertainty, in case of high inflation environment. But unfortunately that is not happening, because I think the ownership, the status of ownership, okay, I think it is something unique to Turkish people and Turkish SMEs especially.
They love to own.
They love to own.
I think there's a bit of... this is a concept very distant to you. I mean, in Europe, we have inflation for the last 30, 40 years. And inflation, kind of gives you a different mindset. And that mindset is, do not keep cash. Keep it in terms of something other than cash. It can be a house, it can be a land, it can be a car. Now, this kind of psychology is instilled in the brains of Turkish population because Turkey has been quite inflationary in the last 30, 40 years. Now, whenever inflation goes up, those instincts, those reactions just come alive, and they go to buy cars because it's kind of, even if they buy it on credit, it's like every month they're putting money into a piggy bank.
Okay.
Right? So I'm actually saving money.
It reassures them
it's not
to
in
own.
the form of cash. It's in the form of something else which is resistant to inflation, because Turkish lira loses value against the car as well. So it's like they're saving money. It's like a piggy bank. They're putting money every month into, whereas leasing is expensing it, and they just quite cannot figure out the mathematics. But as you said, it's right the opposite. It should be the opposite way around. But
So we would say that the market needs education,
Yes.
communication, but also in
it's
terms
a very
of
tough task.
yeah, we know it. That's why we try also with Fleet Europe to educate and to bring communication. And in terms of servicing, because I suppose that's also where you are competing with each other, each I would say leasing company. In terms of service, do you think that you provide enough service for the possible clients, that the offer proposed by the leasing companies is strong enough for the customers?
Well, in Turkey we have a full product, so that means it includes everything. That's why the clients, they just drive their cars for their needs, and that's it.
And you are using the worldwide model of Avens also in Turkey
Yes.
in the same way?
Yes, exactly. So since it is a full product, we do regular maintenance, we do the repairs, we do tire changes, we pay everything related with the car, taxes, road taxes, you name it. So in terms of service quality, I don't see any difference with European countries. Even, we do client happiness, client loyalty, client engagement
I suppose.
scores.
I hope.
And as Turkey, we are always in top 5. That's why clients, I think they are overall quite happy with the service they're getting from leasing companies. I know that also, majority of the leasing companies offering similar services on those similar levels. So I think we don't have any service problem here. It's a full product and clients are happy.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
If I may
Great.
add.
Yeah, no, of course, that's the way.
In terms of SLAs, well, it's a full service product in Turkey. That's how it started. In terms of service levels, I think we are very competitive. In terms of service quality, the way we deliver the product, I think we're as competitive as Europe. Actually, maybe ahead of some countries. I mean, in the UK, you don't need a leasing company to service your car for the maintenance, and in Turkey you have a call center assisting you. In France, you don't have insurance included in the full service product, whereas in Turkey all leases include insurance and accident management and roadside service. So I think we're ahead of Europe in terms of the service side of the service component of the leases. And
It's maybe also because you are more challenged. I mean, in the rest of Europe, leasing has become normal. Here, you need to fight to enter the market. So
exactly, and
it pushes you maybe a bit.
People are more service oriented. I mean,
what do you mean by that?
They like to be serviced.
Okay.
They're lazier, let's say. I mean, we're not Northern Europe.
Okay.
We got the last mile grocery business. Started in Turkey. I mean, not in Norway or in Stockholm.
Okay.
You wouldn't see that because people would love walking to the grocery and do their shopping. But the countries like Italy, Greece, Turkey, I mean, you call someone and brings you the food and, or your grocery shopping. So, and the other thing is, if I may add, in Turkey we have several products on top of the full service leasing as well. I think we're way ahead of Europe there as well. I mean, I'm not talking about just simple products like valet services or jockey services, as they call it in the Netherlands or Germany or Belgium. You can get different types of insurance coverages. You can get, we as head have like 32 products over the full service leasing.
Okay.
And on top of that, you can get different repayment plans. You can get grace periods. you can get prepayments, you can get increasing payment plans.
Okay.
And all of these, I think, as you said, because we have a harder case to crack, we need to work more. And I think we have invented a lot in Turkey,
Okay.
both the industry and as a company header.
You experience the same within Avens because you can easily compare with all the other countries?
Well, product-wise, I think we are quite similar with European countries, but I agree with Önder that our clients are quite demanding, and we need to fulfill the demand, the requirements in a good way, so that we don't want to lose them.
Okay.
I think that makes leasing companies more alert. And also, putting also everything to the customer services as well in order to, again, make them happy.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It's a priority.
Okay.
That's what.
Of course, customer
we operate
satisfaction.
for, yeah.
Another topic which is very important, of course, in your sector is the residual value. Because residual value makes, of course, totally, it's the global concept. How is it going on this important topic in terms of residual value? How big is your risk assessment in terms of residual value, and how are you going with that? Because of the volatility of the inflation, the volatility of the rate, how can you, in a way, foresee the residual value? How can you prepare the residual value? I see you are both laughing. It's certainly one of the main difficult daily jobs.
Well, I get a funny story,
No.
if I may. I mean, we've developed this statistical model to estimate the residual values, and I mean, I've seen European players' statistical models. They are more, the variables are more about the car, the color of the car. Does it have a sunroof? I mean, is it automatic, manual, whatever. In our case, we had to develop the model such that, more than half of the variables are macroeconomic.
Okay.
I mean, because how
So
is the
you
interest
had-
rate?
you
Do
have
we
to
have negative
include-
interest, real interest, or positive real interest rate? Do we have inflation? What's the exchange rate going to be? I mean, all of these. And then 2020 COVID came, and there's not enough production, and we had nothing in the model about the supply of cars because
You had it.
every year 100 million.
It
There's
was
100
not in
million
question.
capacity. It was a given, and it all crashed. I was okay. We don't have the model anymore. We need to reconstruct. Now we used machine learning, different statistical models. I mean, fighting for the best result and all that, and we still cannot make it because the data is so polluted. I mean, because of the COVID case and where the supply was scarce. Then the Turkish government took a different economic policy, which is like they thought that during an inflationary period, if they decrease the interest rates, there would be more production and more supply would decrease the price of goods and services, which is foolish, if I may say. I mean, you're an ex-minister. I'm sure you know about economics. So that actually inflated the value of second-hands. Like, I mean, you're not going to believe this. At some point in time in 2022, was it, or 2023, the value of a 2-year-old car was almost as high as a new one. So the data is polluted again. Now we're trying to find our way, with the data and the model, and it's just all on the residual value committee now. I'm sure you have the same issues.
Yeah, I think this is the most challenging part of our business for years. As Önder mentioned, I think we had a lot of volatility in the past.
That's it.
And looking to the past, you cannot foresee the future because past is past, but also past is kind of an anomaly in the market. That's not normal.
Yes.
We are kind of normalizing right now, but still we are in a high inflation environment. That's why, different to the other countries, we are doing our pricing committee on a monthly basis.
On a monthly
On
basis.
a monthly basis. And
it's specific policy for Turkey.
no, it's our our policy.
Okay.
It's not group policy.
Okay.
But in order to track the
We have the
changes in
same
the
issue.
market.
We do it on a
That's it.
monthly basis.
Yeah,
Sometimes ad hoc. I mean,
yeah. Sometimes even
But
maybe.
it means that your message is the residual value has more to do with the microeconomics than with the car.
Yes.
Definitely. Okay.
Definitely.
So you
Yes.
you have the
Yes.
same position.
Yes.
And
And
the other
do
thi-
you?
I'm sorry.
So no, please go.
The other thing is, as I agree with Turkay, I mean, the future holds more risks than even the past. I mean, Turkey is a growing automotive market now. The first-hand sales are, increasing.
Quite good.
It looks. I think the underlying factor is Europe has its own problems, and they cannot sell enough ICE and electric cars there. So they need new markets, but they can't do it in China. They can't do it in the US. They can't do Asia.
So they.
I mean, I've heard CEO of Renault talk about markets like Turkey, Russia. They want to expand in. Now, but the market is not able to buy that many cars. So what they do is they do discounts. And whenever you see discounts on the first hand, that means the residual values are going to be lower.
That's it.
Especially for shorter term lease. And the problem with the local leasing market is we have more shorter term leases than Europe.
Yeah.
I mean, we have more 12 months than anybody anywhere else, I think.
To compensate in a way the volatility, you have short term.
The customer is asking for it.
That's
Yes.
Because they don't want to,
And-
be under a liability which is for 5 years or 4 years, but they want to
And
keep
do
it
you,
short.
just to continue as well, so residual value, but in Europe we feel that the electrification, of course, of the
Yes.
fleets brings some uncertainties because, of course, calculating the residual value of the car, of the electric car, within an unmature technology, because the battery, the efficiency of the battery is evolving so fast. Does it also make it even more difficult for your daily work, this possibility to come with EV cars, or is it an opportunity? How do you see it?
Well, before EV question,
Oh, yes, please,
I would
sorry.
like to ask something to this, residual value discussion. So you said, we need to follow not just the car, but we need to follow the new car market, used car market. We need to follow the global car production, the shifts there, as Önder mentions. So any change also in their policies had a huge impact on the new car market and also to the used car market as well. That's why, we are regularly checking the residual values. For electrification, I think we are in a good position because the exposure right now is very low. I mean, it's just 2.5% of the market is just pure
EV, you mean?
EVs.
Yeah.
So there is appetite for sure, but since we didn't have, let's say, the backlog or the burden coming from old EVs, I think we are in a comfortable position. That's why.
Starting a bit later and from scratch.
Yes.
Makes it, you think, an opportunity?
Yes, because I think we see a significant increase on the demand, and if you look at the EV sales in Turkey, this is also quite good. It is 17, 18, sometimes 20% of the market, but it's coming mostly from the individuals, privates.
Yeah.
Corporate demand is not that high yet, but I think it will come.
It's an
I
opportunity.
see a bit of a risk here. I mean,
opportunity as well? More risk.
I'm more negative on on this end because
Why?
as Turkay said, I mean, we are looking at 18-20% of total sales are becoming battery electric vehicles. And we all know that the European market crashed once the second-hand market for electric vehicles crashed once it passed these thresholds, because you always have early adopters and then the followers, right? And the early adopters had bought the electric vehicles, and there was a time they needed to sell the car to change it. There wasn't enough early adopters in the second-hand market. It was all followers, so there wasn't, and there was no incentive for the second-hand, so it wasn't a compelling case in that regard. And the infrastructure wasn't all there, right? That's my pick.
No.
I'm sure you have
we see in Europe that evolution of the EV is very much linked to incentives. Do you think that the incentives here?
It's incentivized.
It
Yes, but is
Significantly
it enough?
incentivized. But it doesn't help for the second hand.
Okay, so it's pure for the new registration.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So-
but I think overall, the taxations of EVs are quite positive right now. That's why that's maybe the root cause
That's
of
the
this
incentive.
high share of EVs right now on the privates, because they are quite affordable
Yes.
for the people. So the incentive is all at the beginning at the purchase of the car, as Önder said. So we don't have anything on the resale of the car. But still, since the purchase cost is quite good, I think that makes the overall TCO of EVs even better than the ICE cars. I think that's the attractiveness of EVs right now.
But
I fully agree. And the battery capacity, or the Chinese producers, I'm not awake in the evenings, but it's something constantly, eating my mind, because we don't know how China is going to enter Europe.
Definitely.
And they're very cost effective in their production. And we don't know the battery life, how it's going to improve. The manufacturers always say, okay, we're going to do it gradually. Don't worry, we're not going to hurt the RVs. When competition kicks in, you never know, right? So those, as I said, don't keep me awake at night, but something that eats me up, gradually. So I'm kind of negative on the EV end.
And I think that it shows again also the way that we need to exchange the point of view, Europe, Turkey, because this evolution hasn't become mature yet.
Yes.
It impacts the residual value,
Yeah.
of course. How much isn't going to impact the residual value? It's still a question mark. So, but I think that we can learn from each other. Maybe to go to the last topic, in terms of maturity of the market, in terms of leasing here in Turkey. In Europe, there have been big mergers, Avens, it's certainly the biggest merger between ALD and LeasePlan. Do you have also other merger possible in Turkey? How do you see? Are you going into the direction of the consolidation of the market, or do you think it's gonna stay like it is now? Maybe first
Well, what do you think?
because I think that
Well,
Avens.
if you ask this question, 5-6 years ago, I would tell you that this is a fragmented market, so many players in the market. That's why there's fierce competition. Margins are under pressure. But I think there is this natural consolidation happening right now.
Okay.
It happened, of course, with the merge of ALD and LeasePlan. So, we eliminated at least one big player in the market, and also naturally, I see, we have right now, 5-6 players in the market, which are kind of big players, and then the small ones, which may go out of the market or stay as a niche small player. But
So you don't see a lot of movement for the next years?
No,
No?
I don't think so.
Do you?
Does Avens like Turkey?
Yes and no. I have to be political here. Yeah, because they don't like volatility for sure. We are bringing some volatility to the group as well. But they see the potential for sure.
I think, as I agree with Turkay, consolidation is natural. It's too fragmented.
Still.
Okay. And because of the, we spoke about the recent resale, the increases in the resale values, that attracts smaller players into the market, like auto dealers, even some OEMs. They have an eye on the market, so it brings in new competition and it makes it more fragmented. And I don't think any market should be this fragmented. It's against efficiency. It's against the basic rules of a capitalist economy. I'd say so. There's going to be a consolidation, but I don't expect that. As I agree with you, I don't expect it that soon. We're in midst of a transition now. it's a very volatile economy now in Turkey.
And also in terms of players.
And none of us is sure is 100% sure about expanding our business, that aggressively. We're still monitoring the risks, but I think the early risers will have more advantage here because you cannot always buy at the lowest and sell at the highest. You got to take some risks, and that time is, I think, coming.
Okay, thank you very much. Maybe to conclude, we had this event in Turkey, in Istanbul, and the main topic was how is the fleet going to be within the next 3 years. I hear from the discussion today that there is a risk. It's not an easy topic. It's not an easy market, but it's also full of opportunity. How do you expect to see the leasing market within the next 3 years in a short sentence?
Yeah, well,
pessimistic, optimistic?
No, we were positive, but well, I think it totally depends on the war in Iran.
Of course.
Of course, I wish it would end soon. But yeah, overall, I'm positive with the market because I think it's all about creating awareness, educating the clients. As long as we do that, I think the shift is inevitable, so that we see a lot of SMEs moving to leasing. So it was already happening on Q4 25. Okay. We see clients coming back. We see clients who purchased after the COVID start asking some prices to us as well. But then we have this shock.
Positive.
But I'm positive.
Okay. And you, Önder?
I think we'll see modest amount of growth in the next 3 years. The reason I'm pronouncing next 3 years is we have an election coming up in 2027 probably. And once we pass it, there's going to be an austerity program period, at least like a year. Because, a new elected government will be more brave about implementing tighter politics, economic policies to bring down the inflation. Once we're past that, I mean, if the interest rates come, I'd say like 20%, 10%, there we'll be seeing a huge growth. Yeah. I agree with Turkay. I mean, it's going to be mind-blowing. It's going to be 20% per annum. Yeah. Market growth.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much for this discussion. As you have heard, it's a market with full potential, and let's see the perspective for the future. But there is clearly potential and opportunities. Thank you very much.